Okay, Haywire. Gina Carano's, I guess, debut movie. Um, this one's got a plot that's kind of, I'll just say dense, that only really gets fully explained in like the last 5 minutes of the movie. Essentially, her character, Mallory, is a former Marine who is kind of like one of those you pay a lot of money if you need somebody, rescued or need somebody taken out or killed. So essentially kind of like a high-priced mercenary who works for Ewan McGregor's company. This film kind of jumps around a lot. The initial section you're seeing actually happens more towards the middle of the film, where she gets into her initial brawl in a diner, which the fighting is done very well. So you have the initial brawl in the diner, and then she kind of kidnaps somebody, and as they're driving, that's when she then relives what happened in Barcelona, what happened in Dublin, and she's kind of putting the last 10 days into a sequential order. And while all that's going on, there's also scenes that show Ewan McGregor talking with Michael Douglas's character, as well as Antonio Banderas' character, as they're trying to get everything set up for the Barcelona job, which then leads to the Dublin job, which then kind of leads into her pseudo being framed, and then them constantly trying to either bring her in or to kill her. So you get to see Gina Carano beat up against Channing Tatum, Magneto, or I think it's Michael Fassbender, as well as Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ewan McGregor. The fighting sequences are actually done in a fairly realistic sense. Now, I know people are going to go, but she's really tiny. She's also a professional fighter, so it would make sense that if she's taking on somebody of a similar caliber, but she has a lot greater ability of skill, that she's probably going to beat the crap out of lots of people. You're going to see lots of people going for essentially rear naked chokes as well as front chokes, lots of punching, lots of kicking, knees, elbows. If you're going to this movie to see the fighting is kind of sparse. Out of this hour and a half, I wish there would maybe one or two more action sequences. There is a car chase scene. You have a couple foot chase scenes. She essentially, I think she beats up. There's the guy in Barcelona. There's Magneto. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's the fight in the house. So she probably gets in maybe about 4 or 5 fights. The plot is kind of slow. I was hoping for more of like an action-adventure spy thriller, as opposed to more of a spy thriller with action-adventure thrown in, and the plot only finally coalescing at the very end. The plot is kind of one of those, you worked for me, something, but you're trying to leave, therefore I don't want you to leave, so I'm going to make this huge, overly elaborate plot which ties into someone else's plot and what they want to accomplish, which ties into an overarching plot. So you kind of have, the minor plot points going on, and how those include the other characters, and how what happens in this plot point cycles back into this one, which goes into your third plot point. And they only really kind of make sense, as Ewan McGregor is kind of giving you the flashback of everything that's happened. Can Gina Carano act? Her role doesn't really have any emotion, so you really don't see her actually do anything beyond kind of be a strong jawed female character. Which, in some ways, that's kind of... I was hoping for a little bit more characterization on her part, as opposed to just being the chick who looks pretty who beats up everybody. I mean, that essentially ends up being her character. It's a character that is the female agent. There was one moment where somebody calls her, as she's arrested, and they're like, okay, you know what? Shut up, Wonder Woman. And for me, I thought, she's kind of got a build for Wonder Woman. She can do her own fights. Maybe. All in all, Haywire, I'm glad me and my wife saw it at like a matinee. I could see maybe spending $5 a person to see this if you're not taking a family. you know, it's pretty good, but it's definitely not something I would spend, you know, more than $10 seeing.